Welcome back to Eislyn Bay. Today it's time to do a speed build around this very recognizable little house. If you have seen any of my earlier videos, this house will have popped up several times because this is the house of Sherb. For Sherb, I'm going to do a small time little farm. It's not going to be big, just 2 trees of every kind of fruit and of course pumpkins and all that nice stuff. I thought, since Sherb loves his food so much, that would be the perfect little build for him. Today we need a lot of pathing. In game I'm going to use these 2 colors of dirt because it looks a little bit more, well, real than planting your pumpkins on the grass. Of course, I here realized that I only need 4 dark and 3 light dirt. I grew enough pumpkins with 3 of them on a plant because we all know that Sherb is going to be the perfect farmer, so he will have 3 pumpkins per plant. I am only going to use 2 fruit trees of the same kind. Basically, I don't need any fruit anymore to get bells or anything. It's purely because they're nice and colorful, and I think Sherb would love sweet fruit. Of course, this plot isn't as big as some farms or some orchard builds, but I thought it would be cute. It's more like somebody who likes to garden for the fun of it. As you can see, I will skip to other spaces like flipping a page, because even though we do have a lot of room compared to the older games in our pocket, it still isn't enough. So I had to walk back and forth to my house and to my field of flowers and shrubs a few times during this build. And well, to be honest, I just didn't want to bore you with that. To make sure that the garden and the orchard isn't going to overgrow too much, I'm going to use a lot of custom designs, even little ones you hardly can see, to make it look like there is weeds, but there aren't, and I don't have to pick them up. Instead of a normal fence, I thought I'd use one of my favorite objects in the game and create a fence. That way the log stakes are just very versatile. item. As you can see, I have a lot of things and a lot of ideas, and I don't know if I'm the only one, but most of the time I don't know where they ended up in my pocket. I also thought it would be nice to give Sherb his own windmill. I did turn it around a few times to see which side I wanted to have in the front. The windmill is not my idea. I really do not know whose idea it is. I saw it in several builds of several people on the internet, on the YouTubes, on Pinterest. I really don't know who I should credit for this, but it really does work. Of course, I have to give it my own little twist. And by doing that, I realized that I'm not very good at putting down fences. I wonder if I'm the only one, because really I'm going to let you watch me struggle with it. And then I decide that maybe I'd want it another way, and well, that doesn't work. And then I realize it can't go all the way to the back, so you probably noticed that the fence is going in a way that I already did it the first time and decided against it, but well, it's just no other way to do it. Also, I do have the tendency to skip from one spot of the build to the other. For those who are wondering why this time I am not shooting down the balloon, there's a very good reason for it. With an earlier balloon, my slingshot already broke and I didn't want to go to get one, so I am doing my best to ignore every single balloon flying by. I love the custom designs I found all over the internet. There are so many talented artists out there, and of course all the creator codes are below in the description box for those who want to use them. Again, a lot of pathing, and I really had a hard time creating it, but it worked out well in the end, I think. And while we skipped to the finished product, I also took some time to grab some more things from my inventory and some more flowers, because, well, you can never have enough things. I think I like the way the farm is starting to look, especially when the sun is setting. I must say I do like that time of the day in Animal Crossing. I really didn't intend to take this long creating Sherb's farm. I had it mapped out completely in my mind, and still took longer than I thought it would. I of course overestimated my own fast moving self, because, well, as soon as I start using custom designs and have to lay more than just a few, and it starts to, well, become a real path, well, I do need some time. But I enjoy it. And as I have said in earlier videos and also in my streams, my Animal Crossing streams, I love these stump designs. They are cute, they're fun, and I'm going to use them as much as, well, animal possible. It's not really humanly possible. Is it animally possible? I don't know. At least I'm going to use them a lot. You will realize when I'm going through my inventory here that I am realizing myself that I forgot something again. So there will be another skip in time to get something to eat for my sweet little Sherb. Now I'm just wandering around a little bit. Realizing that things are getting a little bit tight. And I want to make sure people can still walk. This part is actually a part of Henry's garden, but I want to do at least a little bit today to give a little bit of a backdrop to this build, but not too much, because I don't want to give away my plans for Henry's build. Because yes, I already have plans for him and his garden, as I have plans for Butch and his garden, and the same for Dolby and for Sucker. Those are already in my brain, which give me enough time to find other water villagers and think of designing their gardens, and depending on, well, who they are going to be. Again, struggling with space, which is a little bit smaller than I thought at first, or maybe the things are a little bit bigger than I thought at first. Once in a while I check if what I'm planning is looking as it did in my mind, if I don't put things in places which means that I can't see the others. That's also the reason why I like putting trees in diagonals instead of in straight lines, and also I like to use smaller trees, but for this build I didn't use any small trees because all the small trees don't have the fruit, and this being a little orchard, I wanted it to be fully grown, but also put them in a way that, well, you can actually see all the different fruits. And that's why I'm checking once in a while if what I did turned out the way I thought it would be. And now it's basically some finishing touches, things you need on a little farm. Things like, well, water to wash your hands. And that's what I'm trying to create here, a little spot to wash your hands. And of course I'm struggling with the custom designs, but I thought the little garden faucet would be nice with some water spillage and of course a little wooden path to keep your feet dry. At first I was a little bit tempted to do it a little bit more childlike and more, well, kidcore if you will, because of who Sherb is, and that's also the reason I do a little bit of a hint to it with the blue wooden shoes, but I decided to keep the theme of his little farm the same as the rest of the island. Didn't want it to be too bright, and well, let's pretend that Sherb is an adult for a little bit, even though we all know that he's a little baby. I did try to keep the flowers white and blue because of his house, because his house really isn't a very obvious choice for a farm, but I think it still looks cute, the little blue house with all the fruit and the pumpkins and the more muted colors of, well, most wooden things in Animal Crossing. Well, I have of course used already a little bug model, but well, this is Sherb, he is a lazy, so we need a little bit more bugs in his little farm. His friends have to enjoy the outside too, of course. Well, we don't want anyone starting to nibble on his pumpkins or his eggplant cow or his cucumber horse, so we needed a scarecrow. Then I realized I had one white rose left, and why not put it near the termite mound that is basically there for decoration. Or maybe it is the summer home of some of his friends, you don't know. I mean, his friends are bugs after all. Of course I need to hide behind a tree, a bamboo speaker. We'll need some music. And then, as final touch, a garden gnome. And this is the result. I hope you liked creating this little farm with me. I never thought I would be able to use cucumber horses or eggplant cows in any of my builds, but actually I think they're pretty adorable. And of course, Henry is already inspecting all the work I've done. All the trees and plants and bugs. And of course, the little corner to wash your hands before you go inside after a day of gardening or a day of sitting in a chair eating pie. Behind the windmill there will be more, but that's for next time, because that part of the island as I said earlier, belongs to Henry. So, from Henry's empty plot, going down to Sherb's little farm. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And as always, there's only one thing left to say, and that's doo-doo!